Welcome back to the channel. So the third quarter is now officially over. We are now officially in the fourth quarter. So I wanted to make a series for all the carriers, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon, and kind of speak on the fourth quarter momentum and just what I anticipate could happen and what we should be looking forward to in terms of momentum for all of the carriers. So to start off the first video, I'm going to talk about T-Mobile, and these videos are going to be relaxed. So grab your drinks, popcorn, snacks, because they'll probably be a bit longer of videos. So the article that I have pulled up here is a bit older. It's about 3 weeks ago. But, in the third quarter, we had the official iPhone launch. And that is usually the peak highlight of most third quarters, as if it goes usual, right? The time frame was a little off due to the pandemic and COVID starting in 2020. But now it looks like we may be back on track to a normal cycle. So usually the third quarter is peak for the iPhone launch. So now that that's out the way, we're now heading into the fourth quarter. And I still truly believe that T-Mobile is going to have a very excellent third quarter, and those numbers will come out later this month. And I fully expect them to have very good growth numbers, right? On consumer, fixed wireless access, rural, enterprise. I mean, everything. They're growing literally in every single vector of growth that they have internally listed as segments, right? 55 older, military, first responders. I mean, they're growing across the board. They don't always speak about that publicly at the quarterly earnings, but you can see it in the official numbers when they're released. They do list most of that growth in the numbers. And then occasionally they do speak on it when asked by the analysts. So how do I anticipate the fourth quarter to go for T-Mobile? I anticipate more or less the same, right? They're going to be disciplined. They're going to be competitive, and they're going to adjust as needed, and they're going to pivot as needed. Right now, they're still priced the cheapest amongst the MNOs. Maybe Dish comes in this quarter and they just come in and they disrupt, but I don't anticipate that to affect anyone's business, right? I don't expect T-Mobile to respond. I don't expect AT&T to respond. And I don't expect Verizon to respond. Same as what we saw with Sprint, right? Sprint started giving away service free for a year. Nobody reacted to it. And I expect the same to happen in this instant. So could we see something unique out of the ordinary from T-Mobile? Perhaps. The reason I say that is because T-Mobile likes to do stuff and be unique and be innovative. So we could see another UnCarrier move in this quarter, right around the holiday season. We could see a voice over NR launch in a bigger percentage of the network, right? We got those few markets that they announced, and ever since then, it's kind of been radio silence on that front. So that could come out. We could get a, standalone nationwide announcement on N41 and N71. I mean, those are just some of the announcements that we could get during the quarter. Who knows what else we could get, right? We could get more partnerships, a big business arrangement that T-Mobile has. Who knows? That's all stuff that we could still be seeing in this quarter. Now, do I fully expect Verizon and AT&T to respond to anything that T-Mobile does? Probably not. And I'll talk more about that in the Verizon and the AT&T videos. But right now, at least for this year, the remaining of the year, I anticipate Verizon and AT&T to remain disciplined as well and not really pivot much. And T-Mobile, I think, is going to reap the benefits. They'll gain more scale. This is the quarter where they get to 260 million pops covered with N41. So that's a bigger scale for more fixed wireless access customers, right? And like I said in the previous videos, the POR they're being updated, right? From now until April of next year, they're going to start doing a bunch more 2.5 overlays. And that's going to come with N71, N25. And that's plan of record for those of you who didn't see that video. Plan of record meaning it's on the plan, it's been approved financially, and now we can go deploy it. That's T-Mobile's actual plan that's going to happen. This is not a wishful thinking. This is not a I want to do it plan. No, once it's on the POR, that means it's going to happen. That means it's went through the wishful thinking list, and now it's actually made it onto the funding and it got approved. So we're going to see a bunch more of that, right? And also this quarter, I'm told, for those of you that do stick around and watch the videos, I am told we're going to see a explosion of coverage. So I've been following up on Nebraska. They're starting to build out natively. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen with a flip of a switch, but they're building out natively. So they're going to attack the pops first. They want to cover 70% of pops by 2024. I'm told that number internally is already higher. So if you look at the map, they're expanding natively along I-80 in those cities. I am told they're going to start hitting north. They're going to start hitting north of Nebraska. East and west, I fully expect them to have that covered by the end of the year. The I-80 east to west Nebraska, I expect that to be fully covered natively by the end of the year. I truly do. And I fully expect that to be the first more broader coverage that they have in that state. Because if you guys don't know, for those of you who don't know, T-Mobile was a non-native player in Nebraska. They were all roaming until now. They had some in Omaha and Lincoln, I believe. They had some native coverage, but they never expanded into that state outside of those two cities that I mentioned. Now with the Sprint keep sites, they gain a little bit more native footprint, but the rest they're gonna have to build out natively. That's the only way they gain coverage in that state. And when I mean natively, I mean new site builds, like brand new. They have to build those sites. Luckily, Verizon and ATT are largely built out, so they can co-locate, and so that shouldn't be too big of a deal. But in certain cases where maybe you want a tighter grid or densify, you may need to put up your own 150-foot structure to cover it. So those are some of the announcements that I'm anticipating during the fourth quarter for T-Mobile. But other than that, in terms of numbers and growth, I expect them to remain very disciplined, and I expect them to, keep making marketing announcements and new ads coming. And then, of course, there's going to be some aggressive promos for Christmas, for the holidays. We have Black Friday in this quarter as well. So that's going to be, and then, of course, Cyber Monday. So that's going to be a great opportunity for T-Mobile to strike. And then with the network, right? The network, everything comes from the network in terms of the company's success, where they take this, where they end up. I fully expect them to lead with network. They're a pure wireless player. They don't have any wireline assets. In fact, for those of you who haven't seen it, they just sold the Sprint wireline assets. So they're done with wireline. They're going all in on wireless. So that means they're going to have to work on perception. They're going to have to work the B2B. They're going to have to work the enterprise. I mean, they're going to have to work all of it to really become a successful player and a competitive player in the spaces outside of consumer. You got to remember, in the top 50, top 100 markets, T-Mobile is a fair share player. And they're looking to not only defend that position, but also grow that. And Mike Sievert said such very recently. So now, moving forward, now they got to go into the rural markets where they never had penetration. They got to go for enterprise, first responders, and so on and so forth. So that's going to be a tall task, but I think T-Mobile can do it. I think they have the right team in place right now. I think they make a few tweaks. Like I said, the network is going to speak for itself. Also, I do anticipate they go over $14 billion, and I think that will be announced at the third quarter earnings, that for the fourth quarter, they're increasing CapEx to go over $14 billion for this year. And this is the peak year. But I still, and this is for, another video, at the end of the fourth quarter, when they give guidance for 2023, I fully anticipate a raised CapEx for 2023 versus what they told us at the guidance, at the analyst day, what the guidance was for 23. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section down below. Leave all your comments, like, share, subscribe. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.